24 to reign with Vivi of the DM's Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Not
Good.
in Lilith form. Not in druid form.
Nope.
Just in person form. And you get to see what my house looks like.
It's very festive.
It's my, oh yes, festive, and then I have my Hufflepuff curtain.
I like your. Are you Hufflepuff too?
Yes, I am.
No wonder we get along so
I know.
well.
I was like, I saw these at IKEA, and I'm like, those are like legit Hufflepuff curtains. And I'm like, I'm gonna buy them. And so I bought these yellow pillows to match my Hufflepuff curtain. So if you can't tell what house I'm in, you know.
You always know it's Vivi's house because there are Hufflepuff themed things.
I do. I actually have a spray. I can show you actually. Well, before we start, it's a spray painted art that my friend bought for me, and it's like Hogwarts. Oh, at night at Hogwarts. Awesome. Hang on.
Hi, Rory. How are you doing?
She got this for me for my birthday. Oops, like 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, and he's a spray paint. It's crazy. I don't know how people like do things like this.
Yeah, that much control. Like I can airbrush, but spray paint like that.
Yeah, I can't even. I don't even own an airbrush.
I actually own one that is for cake decorating, but I've done a lot I had a professional airbrush when I was at the theater so that I could airbrush things all the time.
Hey Rory,
Fun.
can you capture me more? Oh, music is too loud. Well,
Yeah. Well, sorry. We'll have to let your dad know when he gets back, Jordan, because he stepped away for a moment. Hi, Phantom. I have joined you in the Ashrin is evil camp. Just so you know. I just thought you should know, Robert.
One of us.
As of last night, it's official.
She is sus. She is sus AF.
Yes, she is.
She is the imposter. She's out to kill us all. What were you doing when we were fighting the orcs?
She's planning on turning Shorewin evil like she did with Uthar.
Oh.
See,
that's what it is.
She wrote the letter. She left the letter and faked it and made it seem like he left, but he actually didn't leave. She turned him evil and then sent him back to her mistress.
Plot twist. That is the best plot twist. I mean, not plot twist in a good way for us, but how was everyone's blueberry chocolate cake? What was the context of that again? I forget. It's the dinosaur thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I like dinosaurs and I don't want them in D&D. It's like I like blueberries, but I don't want them in my chocolate cake.
Except that sounds delicious.
Yeah. Hey Rory. My followers are growing. Yes, they are.
Yes, Phantom.
We need to sign a petition. For
The Ashrin is evil.
petition. We know it.
Yes, she didn't turn evil. She was evil from the beginning.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, Buggy Lou. You finished with your snack? That's good.
I see you, Esther. Peekaboo.
Are you hiding behind Mommy's chair?
Did you guys put your tree up yet or not yet?
Not yet.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of holding out to the last minute for a live tree, and they have them at the Home Depot, like close by, so I'm going to get one tomorrow probably, because it was raining today, and I did not want to go out in the rain to get a Christmas tree.
I don't blame you. You guys normally do live tree or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I should do. I want to try it one year. I just like my little fig tree because I'm also a plant murderer, so.
The first couple of years, we got we actually have an artificial tree as well. So the first couple of years we used the artificial tree, but ever since Esther was born, we've been getting live trees because it's something nice for.
It's nice. And it's a nice tradition, right?
Yeah,
it's a tradition.
Because she the very first year we got the live tree. We went as a family to get a live tree. Esther actually picked it herself. She was like, I want that one. And she was like, she was probably just over 1.5-ish So
And that's fun, because she just got to pick the Christmas tree.
Mama,
yes, Bug.
I want a gummy worm.
You want a gummy worm? Well, I do not have the gummy worm, so you will have to go ask Daddy about the gummy worm.
Bye. Esther's a girl after my own heart. I love gummy worms as well.
All right, that's awesome. And she is so, I say this every time, she is so beautiful.
Yes, she is.
And I am joined by two amazing ladies tonight. And I'll say this probably once or twice more on the stream, but Vivi and Evelyn, fantastic people, human beings, mothers, D&D players, creative artists. I am blessed to be associated with them. And we're not going to do all of our sponsor videos tonight. We're going to jump right into the stream. We're doing a little bit longer session tonight for LMA. It's going to be 90 minutes or like, I guess, 87 minutes now. And we're talking terrain building. So I'm going to switch to live video. Good to see Fraley, Set Monkey, Penhead, Owly Bee, DM Dingbat. Oh, yes, Captain Myamorph. Ancient Gamer, always the patron of so many good things associated with D&D. And Gimbal, Rory, good to see you. Set Monkey, Roger, also. If I missed anyone, it was not intentional. And let's kick off live and see if I have this right. Boom.
Oh, John, just
Yes.
before we start, they were saying that the music was a touch too loud.
Yes, Jordan, let us know.
Okay, golly, it sounds so quiet on my side, but I will adjust it down. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, Bloodwild, the answer to your question that you messaged me.
All right, and we are live. So you are visible. As I said a moment ago, I am joined by Evelyn. Evelyn is Theater Evie. She plays Marthaliel, Irda. She plays Millie, of course, and she can be found. Give me all your socials and anything else you'd like to tell us, Evelyn.
So yeah, I can be found at Theater Evie on Instagram and on Twitter. I also very recently have started doing a podcast with our very own Shorewin. We do a World of Warcraft one on Monday nights, and we're gonna start a D&D one on Thursday. So tomorrow is our first stream at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time at Magic ED on the Twitch here. So yeah, and currently all of our WoW podcasts that we've done so far are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and that's called Two Torn Tables. And so yeah.
Say again, two horn tails?
Two Torn Tables.
And you can go ahead and pop that in the chat if you'd like. We love you. We love Terry. He's amazing. Machik is better than just Shorewin. He is a charismatic guy. He's also, tell us again, he's a professor where?
He's a professor at Alma College in Michigan, and he teaches technical theater. And I've known him since 2006. So we've been friends for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Now, what's technical theater? I don't even know what that is. What's that?
That's what I do. I'm a prop maker. So technical theater is all the backstage folks and your stage management, your crews, your designers, all the people that are not your actors. Those are all your technical theater creators.
Nice.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Now I know what that is. All right. And I'm also joined by the amazing Vivi, who plays Lilith. Also has, she's the Beholder Queen. She runs the DM's Quest. And so just tell us about your socials and what you're doing and give us the full rundown on all things Vivi.
Full rundown. Okay. So,
no, not you know what I mean. Yeah, full D&D rundown.
My socials is just thedms.quest on Instagram. That's the only place you can find me because I can't be bothered to deal with multiple social media accounts. What do? I am a new DM, learning how to DM, so that's kind of hence the name, The DM's Quest. It's my quest to becoming a DM, which also has lots of side quests, including terrain building, miniature painting, and other adventures that I find that I fancy, I guess. I do I'm part of a judge for a terrain building competition that runs monthly on Encounter Terrain, and I think that's about it that I do. Oh, I do have another stream once every month or two on the initiative order, but other than that, that's me in a nutshell.
What's the initiative order?
It's I play Call of Cthulhu there, so it's a different tabletop RPG.
I know
I've got a
exactly.
couple of those. They're really
I
fun.
know exactly what that is.
Yes,
Okay. So tonight we're talking terrain building, and I've got the mat set up, so you should be able to see both Vivi and her mat. And before we jump into the actual terrain building process, hang on, let me try and get the music a little quieter. Let's talk about the role of terrain in D&D, because to me it's very controversial. You've got some that use Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds. You got Theater of Mind role players who do nothing. How do both of you feel about the use of physical terrain in D&D, and especially streaming D&D?
Well, I could go first because we've talked about this before, but I think it is one of those little added fun things, but is not necessarily necessary. It's it adds to things, but it should not be the only way of communicating what something looks like in a game, especially with the players at the table, because you want to have them to be able to explore this with their imagination and not just go, and it looks like this, and point at the table.
Exactly.
Well, no, that's exactly right. So, how do you do that though? And you don't have to reference what I do, although if you want to, that's fine. But like, what's the right way for a player, or for a DM that uses terrain to use that and not make it just, oh, this is what you see?
I think in my sense, when I do DM and I do use terrain, I mostly do terrain for combat specifically, because I am more of a 5e DM, and so like movement and such and such and such. I think it's just easier for me to for my brain to wrap around all my players and where all the monsters are, especially if you're having multiple monsters and stuff like that. So I think that is, in my sense, when I'm DMing, that's when I usually use terrain for battles, because then I can keep everything organized. And then usually outside of that, that's where I go for the more theater of the mind kind of stuff.
Okay, so I have a question. We got a lot of folks that are on tonight that are regular viewers. I saw Ali be popped in. Hey, Lord Forth. Jay Birchfield 3, good to see you. I think you were on earlier. City Guard of Hebron, XL809. All of you, thank you, thank you. So, last night, we had long sessions of role play around the campground. And I picked up the camera and moved it around at times to create a sense of motion. And I want to know if the viewers like that, or if they felt it was worthless, or like I did a zoom out, zoom in, move the camera around, because I've got, like, even when I had PCs that were talking, I would move them around on the screen just to kind of create a sense of motion. Is that distracting and worthless, or does that add to immersion, which is what my goal is? I really want to know what you guys think, and also what the viewers think.
I mean, from my point of view, to be perfectly honest, I was not watching the cam at that point. I was,
Right,
in
yeah.
the moment with everybody else.
As you should be.
I think, to be fair, like, you do a good job DMing theater of the mind and setting the scene for us as players, because we're not necessarily looking at the cam all the time, unless it's like something that you're trying to visibly show us. I think that, I don't know, this is, you guys say for whatever you guys think. I think it's good. I think it's a good move, because the people who are watching might not necessarily like to have that immersion as well, where things are moving and they can actually physically see things as well with us talking, right?
I
Yes.
think it's great for the audience for sure. Like, giving them that is a good thing. Like, especially when I've gone back and rewatched streams. Like, I see a lot of that type of stuff that I missed in the initial, like, when we're in it.
Yeah.
So as a viewer, like, from taking a step back and looking at it from that perspective, I like that.
No, I think that's good feedback, and I'm still working on giving. There will be a solution soon. I thought Vorpal board would be it, but it's not quite there yet. where I can let my players and my viewers see the battle map at the same time instantly, and that's not the way it's yet a bit. But there's so much chat blowing up. Thank you, everybody. It's like it seems like you like it. It's more theatrical. City of Hebron. It's like a movie. Fraley. The shots are good. They add the seasickness Lord forth. But I'm going to give Jay Birchfield 3, and I don't do this often because he's my son, so I never want to appear like I'm using nepotism. But I think he has the winning comment of the night so far. I'm the D&D Casey Neistat. If you don't know Casey Neistat,
Yes,
I know he is incredible. So thank you. And let's jump into, okay, you're using terrain. Connects the dots on the fringe. Yes, Excel. You're using terrain, and you want the best terrain possible. Vivi. I've complimented you so many times, and it's not just casual sort of throwaway compliments. I've been painting lead figures. Well, I guess. Oh, hey, Mr. Potato Butt, thank you so much, sir. I love your username. Everybody loves your username. I've been painting lead figures since they were called lead figures. I guess I show how old I am just by saying that. And, you know, I've been in and out of the game, and I've got a lot of stuff here that I've painted. You piss me off. You, young lady, have grown in talent and done amazing things in a fraction of the time that I have gained the paucity of talent that I have. How have you done such things?
I don't know. I pick things up very quickly, and I'm a huge visual learner. So if I can see something, I have a knack, I guess. It's pretty easy for me to pick something up if I can visually see. If someone can visually show me how to do it, I can pick it up pretty quickly. The other thing too is I like to challenge myself a lot. So a lot of the times when I'm painting, I try to focus on a technique that I have not. I pick something that I want to learn or improve on, and I think that's why. I'm able to kind of push myself into a direction at a quicker pace because I'm trying to see that improvement and growth. I like the challenge.
No, so like I like a challenge too, and like Snafu said, because she has talent, so apparently I have none.
Yes, non-metal metallics is something I would like to work on as well, Amanda.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming next.
All right, so. Tell us, Vivi, terrain creation. That's something I struggle with. I've got a lot of good stuff. I bought things from Miniature Building Authority, Dwarven Forge, Terrain Crate, Mantic Games, awesome sponsor. My own wife has made good stuff, but you are masterful. So walk us through what you're doing right now with the ruins, which are going to be for Blue Box, and let's just kind of go from there.
Yes, so I'm currently working on some scatter terrain, ancient ruins that will be sent to Blue Box. I'm not done painting this one yet, but there's a lot of different textures and stuff like that going on. I think this would be good. I don't think I've ever seen you have ancient ruins scatter, do you?
All I have are, hang on a second here.
I feel like he has a very little bit.
I have stuff like this. I have these guys. Whoops, sorry. These guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just walls. They have no terrain around them.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I was just thinking scatter terrain is just something nice and small that you can kind of have in a box that you can kind of throw in. There's lots of different kinds of trains like you had just mentioned. I'm more like I don't know about you, John, but for me personally, I'm more of a traveling DM. I do DM in my own home, but I'm most of the time usually going to somebody's house. So having something that's light and easy to carry with me is very handy. So that's kind of like how I try to make terrain. So like this stuff, like this is like and cheap to make as well. So like, you know, popsicle sticks, XPS foam, corkboard, cardboard, all of those things are all cheap and accessible for everybody to have and play around with and make. So I think that's kind of great.
No, so let's talk about that for a second. That's a good topic for us. So like the traveling DM, the local DM. So when I was younger, i.e. not 40, late 40s, as I am now, I'm still young, right? Come on.
young.
I still
Yeah, totally
a
young.
little gray hair here, but I'm still pretty young. But anyway, but I always, like when I was in my early 20s, I traveled a lot, and I had a big bag, and, you know, have minis will travel. You know, that's the way it was. Today, I've got this room, and every player wants to come visit this if they can, or I'll bring them in through remote stuff. But you make a great point. The portability of your terrain and minis. So if I go back to the original Dwarven Forge stuff, these resin-based items were awesome, but they're heavy and they're very fragile. And then they came up with, I think they call it Dwarvenite. You know, these things, these are light. I can drop it, doesn't matter.
Durable,
So making your minis and your terrain portable is important for the DM that needs to move, right?
Right, and Gautier makes a good point. It is expensive over time if you continuously buy these things. So like making your own at home is also like cheap, and you know what I mean. You can you can build a lot of different terrain for a good amount of money. Like if you can do it by yourself. So there's a couple of things. I don't do terrain all the time. I'm still new to terrain as well, but I'm learning a lot of things. And just being in that terrain building competition as a judge, you do learn a lot of techniques and a lot of tips and tricks that are you're like, holy crap, like that's really easy to pick up or whatever, or things that you never would have thought of. So, and all of the supplies that I have here are all just like things that are very inexpensive. You don't need like lots of money. Like I have like aluminum foil here, cardboard, XPS, like a utility knife, like cheap makeup brushes. I'm gonna tell you, these things
The best.
are the best. Not for your face, but for your terrain. Let me tell you, don't buy an expensive dry brush. You can do it with cheap. You can buy a makeup brush for very cheap at Walmart for like $2. And you can beat the crap out of it and then toss it away and not worry about it.
Wow, wow. So helpful. All right, so you see the DM's Quest logo in the center of that right side screen, and let's just get into it. Vivi, teach us about building terrain.
Okay, so this one in particular I have is Ancient Ruins. So I was learning a bit of techniques in the past couple days that would kind of helped bump up my little build. But for something like that, you can see like this, the base is just cardboard. So you can cut that, for an example, whatever shape you want, right? So like for this example, I just cut a long rectangular shape instead of a L shape like we have here. And then you could just cut XPS foam to fit onto the base. So that's kind of basically what you're doing there. The trick with XPS, what you're doing with a hobby knife, and I'll show you guys a trick that I've learned, is if you feel resistance on it, then you're pushing too hard. So you just want to lightly press the blade into the XPS, and then just do a couple runs in there. And when you do that, that cuts a lot cleaner, and then you can just snap.
Just snap. Oh, yep. Snap. Wow.
That's a really fun.
Yeah,
fun
you just do. I've already learned something. That's awesome. All right.
Yeah. So don't like if you're pushing it too hard and you feel like it's like dragging, then that means you're pushing too hard and you're getting resistance. Yeah. So you can just lightly like score it a couple times and then snap it as well.
Gosh, that's so cool.
Evelyn, do you use XPS in like prop making?
Prop making, yes.
Yeah.
And when you build scale models of sets, like if you're a scenic designer, you'll do like 1/4-inch scale models of the full set. So a lot of times you'll utilize foam and stuff.
Yeah. So that's basically that. So I'm just gonna kind of show you a couple of things that I've learned based on some of the terrain stuff. I'm trying to see if I can get it to focus. We're trying to make this. If you look at bricks, they're not necessarily all the same size, or they're not consistent, I guess, right? And that's something that I need to work on too, is because my OCD brain always wants to make everything look perfect, but naturally and in real life it is not. So that's the trick. So I want to show you a couple tricks on how to make things look not perfect or they're ruins, right? So we want there to be definition and things like that.
Right.
And with terrain building, it's different than miniature painting in the sense where I want to put all my textures in before I paint everything, because then you can just dry brush and a wash, and it's seriously like it's so easy to paint terrain compared to like miniatures if you put the work in beforehand.
Okay,
You'll
so
get
like
good
what I
results.
want to ask you about real quickly is I've got all this great terrain from Terrain Crate, Mantic Games.
Yep.
So these things are 3D prints, I think. So like, take this temple. So
Yeah.
if I want to put a coat on this, do I need to do a base or a prime on it, or do you know like what I need to do? It's not
I
foam.
haven't seen those before. Do they come unpainted or are they already painted?
All right, I'm going to open it because I'm going to keep
Okay.
this one for myself, and you
Okay.
keep going. All right.
If it's unpainted, then you definitely need to prime them first, and then you can paint. Yeah. Oh, they're okay. So Phantom said that they come unpainted. So yeah, definitely prime.
Yeah,
them
so I got to
first.
prime first. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Direct
So
inject
you-
molded. That makes sense, Scott DM. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you could.
Yes,
Yeah,
give
and
them
also
a
give them a
bath.
bath. Yeah. Because of, I think we talked about this on the mini painting thing too. The releasing agent that they use to release
Yep.
the molds from the thing, it can make
It's
your
crazy.
miniatures water hydrophobic.
Yes. So your paint will start to go.
and
Oh,
and
and
deter
leave
from the
holes.
bottle. Yeah, and then they're like, no, why is it doing that? But yeah, so I would definitely wash with just like dish soap and water, warm water, and then rinse them off, dry them, and then prime before you paint.
Okay,
Just give your
great.
minis a bath.
Yes, wash them and then prime.
Wash them and then prime. Okay.
Bath
Got it.
minis, yes. You
I've
need
read that before. I just didn't know if that was still is still relevant today, or if there were different processes,
for
or
sure.
they
Yeah.
pre-wash, or I guess not.
Some,
So
I mean, I just, as a general rule of thumb, I just wash them anyway, just in case, because you never know all the difference. I found like with WizKids, I don't usually have too much of an issue, but I was having a really bad issue with Reaper models all the time with the paint wanting to run away from the model. So I definitely just wash them just across the board just to be safe.
all right. So I don't want to distract anymore. I'm gonna let you get back to what you're doing. But like, look at this. So I just opened the Terrain Crate Mantic Games. So this is a temple setup, and they're already white. So this feels to me like something I could just do washes and inks on to
Yes.
create the lines. Do I really need to prime and paint those?
Yeah, you can. I would definitely prime them in white.
Yeah.
Okay.
and
So
then
still
you
need to
can-
prime. Okay.
Do your washes
your
on
washes
the
and stuff,
on the
yeah.
white. Yeah.
All right. Sorry,
Take a
everybody.
bath
This is like
and
I'm
take your
so
terrain
ignorant.
crate
This-
with you. Pretend you're a titan demolishing the coastal town.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
man.
The floor is back to you. I'll shut up.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, so basically what you want to do is cut your base, which is just a piece of cardboard to size of what you want it. And then just don't sit on the pillar. Yeah, that was not advisable. What I did on the edges is, if you can kind of see, I just kind of cut it at a 45-degree angle all the way around the edges, just so it's not like a hard edge on the end. This will be my piece of ruin that I'm gonna make, which will sit on there. And you want to leave some edges around if you want to add stuff like this. Like we're gonna create different textures and different things on there as well. So once you cut your XPS foam to size onto your base, what you're going to do is take a ballpoint pen. And very important that it's a ballpoint and not just like a gel pen or whatever, because the ball will roll on there and it'll really help bring out the pieces. And black, because if you don't do black, it's gonna save you a lot of time in the long run for things like that. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna create bricks now. And you guys can talk while I'm doing this, because I need hyper focus.
No, thank you
Gotta get
for
those
all
girl
the
things
mad
in.
chatters, and thank you for the hosting, Gronk at KNB. And all the stuff has gone out today. So we got mask winners and ornament winners. We've got the mouse pad winners. That's all kinds of. But tonight, the big giveaway is this guy. So you're getting an incredible Dragon Crafting Guild Beholder dice tray, brand new. Never has a die been rolled in this tray. Will be given away tonight, and we'll be kicking that off in just a bit. And we are just so excited about having Evelyn and Vivi with us, as I can just be quiet and watch them do what they do.
Okay, so what I was doing in between there is you really want to get your pen in there. You're just creating depth in between the bricks, because they're not actual bricks, right? So you're just trying to create depth. sometimes if you can't get your pen in there, what you can do is take your hobby knife and or utility knife and just kind of go through it, just the horizontal lines, and then get your pen back in there again, just to create depth. Okay, so now we've got something like this, and then we're just gonna create different bricks. Try to be random as best as you can. It's kind of hard. I try not to. My OCD brain's like, oh, I just did 2 lines over here, so now I should not put 2 lines over there, or vice versa, or stuff like that. I'm just doing the horizontal lines, vertical lines now.
Oh my God. And remind our viewers, you've been doing this for how long?
Terrain building, not that long.
No, terrain
Miniature
building.
painting was.
Terrain building and mini painting. How long?
I started miniature painting in October of last year, so it's just over a year now.
And terrain building?
Terrain building, I started terrain building couple months, like 6 months ago.
You make me sick! All right, move on.
Okay, you make me sick yesterday. She started yesterday.
2 hours ago. Yeah.
2 hours ago. I just learned how to do this. I'm just winging it. Do I look professional? Yes or no?
Yes, you do. You do.
Making
No,
stuff
it,
up
like,
as you go.
hey,
Kidding. I'm so full
you
of shit.
infuriate me.
Okay, so when you get it to look something like this, I don't have a mini beside me for scale. Usually you'll hold a mini beside you just for scale. That's a good indicator on whether or not your bricks are too big or too small.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that it looks like this, it still kind of looks very streamlined. What we want to do is break this up a little bit more so it doesn't look like it's so streamlined, because not everything looks like this. We're trying to make ruins here, right? So we don't want it to look the same.
Right.
So we're going to take each block, let's say, for example, this one, and you can draw a line through it. It doesn't have to be, it can be right in the middle. It can be up more. It can be down more. It doesn't really matter. And then we're going to break this up again into smaller bits. Okay. And then because that one's kind of more in the middle, I'm going to draw this one down a little bit lower.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of do the same thing where now we're just going to break it up a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the part where you're trying to be random and break things up. Don't make things look too in line. And then you can kind of see the difference between these and then the bricks on top, because now we're just adding more depth and dimension to the terrain piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that you want to do when you're making terrain. I found that if you try to add all the texture before you start painting it, then it seems to work a lot better.
Wow.
These are all tips and tricks that I have learned from the gracious community and just people. I've had a lot of help lately. It's been great. The terrain building competition that I judge, we're on Discord, so a lot of people discuss and talk in there, and they're very great. If you have any questions about terrain, there's a bunch of people in there willing to hop in and be like, hey, this is how you do it, or this is the technique that I use, blah, 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 blah. So it's been really great. You can leave big blocks like that if you want, kind of like as supporting blocks. And then we're just going to keep cutting this through. If you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to ask while I try to be random.
No, do your thing. And but I would say, like, I'm so jealous because you're talented, but you haven't sent me anything yet. Jay.
You know what? There is mail coming in your
Okay.
way, sir. So bite your tongue.
That was not a guilt trip. That was not a guilt trip. But no, like, Jay has Bill the Master Crafter, Sacher Scorn. He creates
Okay.
so much terrain for his game, and I need to get people who are playing in my game who create terrain for me. I'm a little bit upset at Evelyn. She builds props. She's theater. She's theater Evie, and she's done great minis.
It's her job.
She's done great minis for her own character, and she's painted minis for others. I need to give her that credit. But she has not brought a single piece of terrain into my room.
I haven't made any terrain yet. I haven't really thought about it yet, but I'm thinking about it now.
Dabbling.
All right,
Because I've done things like this in full size scale before. I could probably manage.
I'm sure you could. All right, guilt trip over. Guilt trip over. I just did that to give. I did that to give Vivi time. So go ahead.
Yes. Evelyn, are there certain techniques that you're seeing here that are things that you use in your prop building?
So I've actually done a lot of foam stone making actually for
Okay.
like covering flats, which are your walls
Yeah.
on stage, and like various things that I've done to like make them look more natural. Because you'll have a big chunk of foam basically that you take and you'll cut it down to the size you need. And we always make like different size pieces. You know, you don't want them all to be perfectly uniform because.
Right.
Even your actual bricks and stuff, though they're relatively the same size, they're not all going to be completely uniform. And with those, a lot of times, like, because I'm used to working on big scale, but like I would use a rasp file to like round the edges down or like make them rough if I needed to break some off to give it a little more like broken down look to it. And then once I got it all broken down to the size and the shape and the texture that I wanted, then that's when I would like prime them. And a lot of times we would either use like a mixture of Elmer's glue and water or a special kind of glue that's called Flex Bond, and it makes it flexible, but it'll like seal it so like it doesn't break. And then you would paint over that and do all of your texture painting and your shading and stuff like that. So
yeah, okay, so similar to this. So I use washes on that. So do you guys make like a similar thing for washes as well?
Yeah, like a lot of times what you'll do is you'll get your base color down and then your highlight and shadows, and then you'll wash it with a final like overall like toning color.
Okay, yeah, so exactly like terrain, like well, it's just on larger scale. That's all.
Yeah, bigger.
Yeah.
All right, so now Shaw Vendor asks, what's being made? What are you making right now?
I was just showing it right here. So I'm just I still have to finish painting this one, but it's Ancient Ruins is what we're making here. So I'm just kind of showing you a couple of techniques that I've learned on how to make things like this. So now that we've had, I've kind of made it, and do you guys see the difference between how it was before and now? It just looks a little bit more random.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one step here. So now that we've done that, I've left a couple of bigger blocks. That's totally fine too. Some smaller ones. So now before we go forward, what I would do is you can go in and pick specific blocks and kind of just go around them a little bit more, adding more depth. Don't have, again, like just trying to be random and sporadic. You're not you don't want to be too organized with it. Again, like my OCD tries to take over and be like, oh, like this one, you just did this one, don't do this one, So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to do that and kind of pick out a couple of extra bricks to do that with. And then here's another thing too, a lot of people use is aluminum foil, but what people tend to do is make a ball and roll it. What I've learned from GotDM is that if you make it like this, like a canoe almost, or a hot dog, and use it as your thumb, there's different texture points that way. And then when you do go
wait, what kind of hot dogs are you eating? Like that looks nothing like a hot dog to
a hot dog bun.
Oh, a bun. Okay, gotcha.
If my thumb is the hot dog.
Okay, all right. Now I'm with you. All right, go ahead. Move on.
The bun. Yeah, so basically what you're going to do is you're just going to press into the XPS foam, and now we're creating texture on the bricks itself.
Oh.
Right? So then you can kind of see, I don't know if you can kind of see.
Yes, we can see it. It looks, wow.
Yeah, so now we're adding texture on the face of the bricks, and that's something that you can do. It's a technique that you can use on a lot of different things depending on what you want to do. So again, like there's a lot of different techniques on texture as well. Another thing I'll show you is something like this base that I had made for this miniature that I painted. I think this is called a Star Stalker. Okay,
I remember seeing that on your Instagram.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
So this is also just scrap XPS foam that I had. So it's just a scrap piece that I had on the bottom, and then I just I broke off pieces to make it look kind of like old and ruiny. Ruiny.
What did you do for the like texture on that?
Okay, so the texture on here is I just put sand or gravel or grass. Gravel. I don't know what it's called. It's a texture, any kind of like coarse sand, I guess it would be, right? So I mixed that with glue and craft paint, and that's all I did. So then I painted over the entire piece to give it texture. Okay. And it also seals it in. So another thing too, like something like this here as well, with the ground that I did. This is also sand, and there's also sand on this ancient ruin piece too. A good tip that I had gotten was to put glue the sand on first, and then seal the entire thing with glue and paint. And that way, when you pick up your terrain piece, you're not having like little fluffy stuff and like crap all over, bits all over your table. So that's kind of nice because it seals it in there, and now that sand ground texture isn't gonna like fall off all over your map, which is nice.
I find something also that makes really cool like worn away effects with foam stuff is if you take some like acetone and put it in a spray bottle. Don't use a ton of it because otherwise it'll completely melt. But if you like gently spray it over and let it sit for a little bit, you get nice eaten away spots in your stone that you can use to make it look a little more like
worn down,
eroded. Yeah,
and I think I did that technique on another piece of terrain that I did, where I did use a nail polish actually. But the acetone would probably work a lot better. But the nail polish I used to kind of create a pool. And then it did look like that because it did eat it away naturally.
Wow.
You don't know what a hot dog is?
Yeah, but anytime you use acetone and or melting foam, do it in a well-ventilated area because it's nasty stuff. I actually used a respirator anytime I was doing stuff like that and made sure that I was not enclosed anywhere.
Because it will stink or because it will make you pass out and die?
Because it will make your lungs hate you for the rest of your life. Okay, all right,
got it.
It'll make you pass out and die.
Oh, it's cancerous. God DM said it's cancerous. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
all right.
That's why you need to wear proper respirator and be in a well-ventilated area.
Okay, so we went from looking like this, where it looks very streamlined and different, to now we're looking like that, which is more ancient ruiny that we would like. The other thing we can do is, with your same hot dog, you can create a point on this side. Excuse my paint on my hand. And we can push in certain blocks that we have. Again, just creating depth again. So now I'm just going to select certain blocks and kind of push them in. And so again, now you're getting more depth now with that. I'm squinting at the camera, if you guys notice. I wear glasses for distance. I do notice that when I watch back on our streams that I squint at the camera, and that's because I'm trying to read something. If you guys are wondering why I'm squinting at the camera all the time.
You only do that with Yaj Talks, so.
Yes, yeah, also true.
Do not sand and cut resin without protection, Bloodwild. That is so bad. Resin is so toxic.
And the best thing you could have for resins and acetones is a blue box mask.
Seriously, I've done that before. It does not smell nice.
No.
Okay, now that's more texture and depth that we're adding there. You can see there, I've pushed in a couple of the tiles, or the blocks. And then now we're doing that. So another texture thing that you can do is take your hobby knife or utility knife, pick out a few tiles that you want, and then just run your knife down them. Again, we're just adding texture to things, right, before we paint and glue stuff. So like that's basically what we're doing here. Now we're adding texture because we're gonna pull it down this way. And so pick whatever kind of tiles you want. Again, just try to be random and sporadic about it the best you can.
And so Vivi, Fraley said you can also use the knife to chip out places in the wall. Do you do that? Like, do you like pop out little pieces to create chips?
You can too, yeah. And that's just it here where I'm talking about where I'm pushing certain tiles in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like that. And naturally, like here too, if you look on this side, I haven't done it on this side, but my XPS foam naturally had a little crack in it anyway. So I'm using that to my advantage as a missing piece in the terrain. Can you see that there? So you can do that too. And another piece, Fraley, that I was talking, that you're kind of talking about too, on the corner pieces, if you cut into where the lines are here, you can then push certain pieces in as well, because then it creates, again, just more texture to the piece, right? So now we're looking at a piece where the wall isn't flush. There's pieces sticking out, pieces sticking in. You can do that as well. Sorry, I'm not watching the chat as much as I should be.
You're good.
Okay.
They're mainly talking about proper respiration.
Okay, yeah.
Masks.
Yeah.
I actually have two respirators that I use. One for like sanding and doing like foam work.
Mhm.
That's for larger things, and then I have actually like fine mist chemical respirator as well for like spray painting and working with resin and doing all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
so I need to put out a disclaimer. The Blue Box Mask reference was just for fun. You should know if you're working with heavy chemicals, what the appropriate protection is. Do not rely on me. I am not an expert on this. I am making no representations of what is the appropriate protection for heavy chemical usage. Disclaimer over. Back to you.
Disclaimer. Blue box disclaimer.
Exactly.
So yeah, again, we're just building texture and stuff like that. So kind of once you get to that point, I think we're good on that front. We've pushed in a couple tiles or blocks, and then we've textured the front. We've picked certain ones that we're adding more texture. Again, I'm talking about putting lines down certain blocks, extra lines to add extra texture. When you do paint and dry brush, those things will really pop out as well. Help with airbrushing and air booth. Okay, and then again on the corners, on the edges, like I said, you can run your knife, just cut it carefully, run your knife down each side, and then push certain tiles in as well. And you should be careful you don't break them, but if you do break them, it's not a big deal either. But again, that's creating texture there for certain pieces. Accepts no responsibility for your chemical usage. Exactly. That is 100% true. Hard facts.
Yeah.
Hard facts and apply elsewhere for OSHA. We're not.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. So when you get to this point, that's pretty good. I would do the same thing on the top too. I'm just not going to show you that at this right moment. The thing with the cork board that you can use, which is here, I'm just going to break a couple pieces off. You can use this to mimic as like broken stone and stuff like that. So on this end piece, I can add a couple of cork here, and like again, just tearing it so that it just kind of looks natural-ish, and then you can kind of what we'll do is glue that down, so it kind of looks like it's been broken down. Is basically what you're trying to do. Do you use something like that, Evelyn, in your kind of stuff?
I've never done anything quite like to this scale of like for that sort of thing, but that's really useful.
Why didn't you ask me?
Because you don't make terrain and you're not a prop maker.
Okay, all right, busted.
Now, granted, I have used like cork to make fake food before.
Oh,
Makes really good like granola bars and things like that. Looks really good.
Oh yeah, that makes
You
sense.
just paint it up. I've made a ton of fake food in my time. Lots of foam and stuff.
So Dave is right. I'm avoiding the class action lawsuit. but also, we had a question from Fraley. If you apply washes after you paint your terrain, I'm assuming the answer is yes. And you're probably going to get there. But do you want to jump ahead, Vivi, and just talk about what you do later in the process, or
what do you mean?
Do you wash after you paint? I don't mean you personally.
Yes,
do you wash the terrain, not yourself? Do you wash the terrain after you paint?
I can tell you right now, Lilith does not bathe. Have you ever
we already know that. That's why Yaj Talks was not that interested.
She still has blood smeared on her face. Come on.
Yaj Talks, he felt like I didn't like really overtly say this yesterday, but the reason he's more attracted to Millie than Lilith is he senses the sort of pungent, truly pungent, not cologne, unwashed odor from the Grugark. Yes.
You know, it's funny because he talks about collecting different oils and scents in around the world, but so does Lilith in different ways by not bathing.
She smells a little bit of everywhere she's been.
Exactly. I'll just show you quickly so we can glue these things down as well.
Hey everybody, I think 60 might be our high for LMA. You know, we had 80 last night on our stream, but for a Loremaster's Arcana, we got 60 viewers. We're so grateful. All of our chatters are great mad chatters. And of course, how could that not be happening with two amazing, talented women on tonight who are leading the stream? So I can just shut up and be here.
And exist.
Exist. I'm going to exist.
You can make that level with that as well. I'm just so when you get to
oh my God! Wait, what was that?
50 sub gifts from GotDM. Thank you so much for that.
Holy what?
Ray is a pain in my butt.
Oh my gosh! 50 tier 1 subs?
That man is a pain in my butt.
No, don't say that. He is now my best friend. Wow. Holy crud. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
What a pain in my butt.
Ray, that's Ray?
Yes, Ray.
Ray, thank you, Ray. And we got DMs. We got DMs all around here. Vivi's a DM. Evelyn's a DM. I'm a DM. We got many DMs in the chat. But tonight, my friend, you are the got DM. Wow. Holy smokes. And I haven't quieted down the alert box on this particular thing, so it's going to be really loud. So I'm going to work on that while you keep talking, all right?
Okay. So, yeah. So basically, what I'm here is now you're creating. It looks like it's broken down. So when you prime everything and paint it, that's going to be where that goes as well. Okay. So basically, what I would do with this thing now is I have here to prime and paint. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you was for Ancient Ruins, these boards for support. So if you're trying to like mimic things like where they're trying to like hold up the wall for support and stuff like that, popsicle sticks are great. You can cut them to size as well. So you can kind of store them and then break them off. That works really well. Weapons will be offered for holidays. Yes. Or 1 week. I thought we're going to be offered a 1 week.
1 week. It's 1 week completely.
That's
and
right.
then
That's
we're
right.
back
1 week.
the
That's it.
after.
1 week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you just measure this to size so you can put it this way. So we're gonna cut it that way. The other thing, it seems very bizarre. I have been told that it's very bizarre thing that I guess people will do this. If you cut down the length of it, just this is again adding more texture and different pieces. This is what you guys want when you're doing terrain building. So that when you do paint it and wash it later, it's definitely all these things are going to pick up and show. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to cut these to size as a kind of like a support. If the ancient room was falling over and then they wanted to put supports up there to keep it up. And then I'll skip ahead a little bit. Yeah, so then we can do that. Things like that. And then we can glue those on that side as well. So for supports, and I'm trying to prop this up so you can see it.
And Vivi, what kind of glue do you usually use for when you're assembling these sorts of things?
Mod Podge, but I have like just Elmer's glue right
Cool.
here. It just takes time to dry. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody, I think I
fixed
fixed the alerts right as they stopped, and I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to gank the system here. But if somebody could just give me like 5 bits or something, I think the alert should be quieter now. I literally fixed it right as they finished, and I'm so sorry. I've had to fix them on each of my different views and streams. So if somebody pops something in there, anything.
There we go. Set Monkey's got us covered.
Good. All right, so that's better, but still like that's actually quiet, totally silent. All right, there we go. Got it. All right, resume. Thank you, Set Monkey.
Perfect. Okay, so now I'm just making support beams. Is there something that you can do? Again, coffee sticks, these are essential. Popsicle sticks, non-essential.
What if I want popsicles?
What if I want popsicles? Then you can use coffee stir sticks.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm just scoring down the side, avoiding any bloodshed on BlueBoxRPG.
Yes, please don't cut yourself with X-Acto knives. I have the scar to prove it. Don't do it.
What is that? We have limited time.
Are we on a hype train?
That's what I thought. Did we get a hype train or? Oh
Well,
yeah, level 5 already.
Yeah, I mean, how could we not with what God DM did? We're level 5, 583% hype trade on a Loremasters. That is insane. Okay, I got to do a dance. So you guys can tell me. So I'm gonna do a dance right now. Do you want to see the wave? Do you want to see this? Do you want to see the Cabbage Patch? What do you want to see?
You want to see the Cabbage Patch?
Cabbage Patch.
All right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go, John.
All right.
It's your birthday.
I'll do it all. Thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome. All right, resume.
Phantom has requested the funky dinosaur.
I don't know. Sorry, not in my repertoire. Resume, Vivi.
He does know the funky dinosaur. He just doesn't want to show it.
Oh,
We'll get him. We'll get him. The truffle shuffle. How about the floss? Do the sprinkler. Okay, so now I'm
Please keep doing terrain.
Vivi's doing terrain. I'm okay. I feel like they would like to see some dancing along with terrain building.
You know, it keeps it
Dinner
spicy.
and dance.
I don't like dad dancing though, because I think I'm better than dad. All right, I got.
That's definitely better than
I
the
can't
dad
even
dance that
do
my
it.
dad did.
I'm laughing too hard.
John's like, I'm not that old.
No, I'm not that old, but yeah, I guess. Kia cheering for DM dancing.
Oh yeah, get 200 bits for DM dancing.
590% level 5 hype train.
You guys are the best.
Okay, so now I'm just building.
What's the
support.
sprinkler?
You don't know what the sprinkler is?
Canadian
what's the
Ancient
sprinkler?
Canadian Ancient Gamer asked, "What's the sprinkler?"
Oh,
Yeah, well,
come
he
on.
needs to
John,
show
please
us.
show him what the sprinkler is. Poor man does not know what a sprinkler
I
is.
must confess, I do not know. I know the
Oh,
cat
you-
daddy, the Flutsum. I know there's so many, but I don't know the sprinkler. So,
I feel like that's a lie.
Jordan send. Thank you, DM Dingbat. I'm glad to know all cats are with me. Jay Birchfield 3, thank you so much for the cheer. No, no sprinkling.
If I had the actual
No
physical space-
sprinkling.
617. Oh my god.
I see. Jordan has requested some DM freestyle, and he'll get 5 subs.
Oh, did he really?
Do
Oh,
it.
DM freestyle. Okay. All right. Well, so I got to get the camera ready.
Oh, he's dancing.
You,
Yes.
you keep. I need beats though. Like, how do you freestyle without a beat?
Play some music.
Well,
No,
no, because
sorry
it
about-
won't work on
Oh,
YouTube.
yes.
But I'll just give you guys a little bit of bump, 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 bump.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
All right, I've humiliated myself. That's enough.
Yeah!
Oh, let's go.
What are we at? We're at 630.
630%. Is this all I need to do? Is just humiliate myself on stream? That's the trick? I never knew.
It's a combo of your dancing and terrain building and,
Okay, all right.
and endless lovely presents.
Welcome to the internet, John.
All right, this will never make it to YouTube. This will be deleted by tomorrow morning. So,
Not if I get that
Nice.
fast.
There we are. 700. 700. I think we broke Twitch. What
we
happens if
broke
go
Twitch.
over
Oh my gosh,
700?
717 on the hype train. Thank you everybody for
gosh.
subbing.
This is insane.
I have just destroyed your terrain building, Vivi. I'm so sorry. All right, please continue.
No, I'm loving this. We can come back and do this again. Let's do it again. Why not? Okay, so once you have this base all done up, do the robot.
Now it's my giggle fit.
Oh, that's weird. Hey, bits for, hang on 1 second. Do I have bits?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh, 750%.
Thank you.
The best.
Where's
There's
that?
nothing like a mad chatter. Look, so the terrain, so those pieces in the front, that's
Yes.
like the wood in front of the bricks holding the structure
to be holding
together.
it up for like
Right.
support. Yeah. Okay. So basically, once you get to this point, I haven't done the top, but I think I can work around it. It's fine. So I think what I have learned was a 75, 25 glue.
Mhm.
But to be fair, in true, just much like my cooking, I just eyeball everything. So whether or not that's true or not, I'm not going to say. I speak for no one. But yeah, so basically what you're doing is just doing glue and craft paint. So that way you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and then you're now priming and sealing your piece all at one time. Oh, okay. So, oops, I forgot one thing. Hang on one hot minute. You can glue your sand down now, which is very handy before anything happens. So, I should just put glue here. John, so you said that you've never built terrain before?
No.
Or have you ever tried?
No, I've never tried. I painted minis. I painted lots of minis.
Okay.
I bought terrain. I set up terrain. I set up battle maps. I don't know. I've always been intimidated to even try, like foam and the boards and the cardboard. I've never felt like I had that gift.
How do you know unless you
And to try, exactly.
Okay, now you guys are shaming me more than my dancing.
I'm not shaming
No!
you. We're trying to encourage you. I don't know where you're getting shamed
I feel
from.
like we had a similar conversation with Mike Disney when he came on and taught us how to draw. If you don't try.
Well, okay, no, like honestly, I feel like I've tried to draw. Yes, drawing I've tried. I unequivocally suck at drawing. I think the terrain stuff I could probably.
The terrain stuff you can do, John.
I think maybe I
I
could.
think you need to give yourself more credit.
Okay, well, but no, more credit and more time. Because you guys got to
Yes,
remember,
also
I'm
time.
also DMing multiple streams and buying and painting minis and setting up all these amazing, well, not amazing, these cool Twitch streams and stuff. But I would love to be able to do what you're doing, and maybe I should give it a shot.
You should.
I will.
What-
I will.
What,
What,
over
John
the
is
holidays?
busy?
Yes, over the holidays.
I accept your challenge, Vivi.
Yes, you shall. It's not a challenge. It's more of an encouragement.
Challenge. It's challenge. It's challenge.
It's better
If it's a
better if
challenge-
it's a challenge.
If it's a challenge.
It is. It's a challenge.
If it's a challenge,
I take it. I take it. All right.
are you going to be more so inclined to?
I am.
Okay,
I
then it's a
commit
challenge.
this on stream before the
I
world.
challenge you, John, of BlueBoxRPG, to create terrain
You can
and,
do it.
and submit it to me by December 31st.
Oh, deadlines.
Oh,
We
that's
got an
even better.
executive in the house. That's exactly what you do. Commit to a deadline. Well done.
Yes. Yep. See? I know. Okay, so I just poured sand on there. And whoop. Normally I would have more gluing time, but for sake of stream
Dream
and-
time.
and movie and not a lack of movie magic, this is where we are. Thanks to whoever gave the sub. I'm pretty sure it's goddamn because
Yeah. I'm typing that in now.
8 billion. Yeah. I always do my sand on a piece of paper, so then when I am done with it, I can pour it back into the container from whence it came. Or spill it all over my desk like I just did, but nobody saw that, so luckily that part was off camera. And now I have sand all over my all over my desk. This is actually funny because my hobby desk is actually upstairs in my bedroom. This is my computer desk, and I have moved everything downstairs. Yeah. Okay, so once you're doing that, I was talking about this with the priming, glue and paint. And then what you essentially are going to do is this sand is still wet, but you're just basically going to prime this entire piece and then let it dry. And then that way you can go over everything with, and then you can paint it and stuff like that after that. So basically what I can show you guys is, I tried to do a quick thing, but, and I talked to Rory. I did a paint and hang with Rory of Gimbal from our stream. He was talking about painting because he got a couple of things. I'm pretty sure. Is he still there, Rory?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in.
It was 3D printed.
mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Rory. I can't remember where he got them from. But did GodDM just expose himself as Santa? Yes,
He did. He did. Yes. Thank you, Ray.
Merry Christmas.
Oh.
Actually, Ray does do a lot of terrain building, and that's where I learned a lot of my terrain stuff.
Oh,
from
wow.
Ray. Yeah. He built some pretty epic stuff. Very large scale stuff. He also built, I think he built a mansion that has like beholder head fountains, like zombie beholder head fountains. Yep, all about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I want to live there. Can I live there? Is that a possibility? No,
I was gonna say that does sound like your aesthetic a little bit.
Yes,
It
just a
really
little
does.
Layer, beholder layer, things like that. Yeah, so you're gonna basically cover the entire piece with this primer / sealant, as well as the sand too. I just put the sand down, so I'm not gonna paint over the sand right now. But yeah, we need. Oh yes, have you guys looked at Tasha's Cauldron of Everything yet?
Not yet. I haven't gotten it yet.
I was talking to
No.
Amanda about that because she loves mimics, and there was something in there about a mimic colony.
Nice.
It's actually pretty cool. Like I low-key want to make one too. Snicker, snicker. Okay, so you would basically prime that entire piece, and then it would look black like that. Basically, what I did on these pieces here. What do we have for time? Oh yeah, we're still good for time.
Yeah, we still
Yeah,
got
we're good.
about
You got plenty
20.
of time. Yeah.
What I did for here is I just did a prime in our base coat in black or brown, sorry, dark brown, and then it's just dry brushing. So if you can find a dry brush, a good dry brush. This is something that I taught Rory as well about dry brushing because I couldn't figure out dry brushing for the life of me, and it was driving me bananas. But I talked to the guy at GW Warhammer, and he was actually telling me about dry brushing. So what you want to do when you're dry brushing, for those who are newer to things like that, when you get your paint, and I suggest if you do terrain, just use craft paint. Don't bother with like this miniature painting stuff because it's going to be super expensive, and you don't want to do that.
Oh, so
Craft
like
paint-
the big bottles of stuff you get at like Hobby Lobby or whatever.
Yeah,
those
like
work
the
fine.
acrylic paints. Yeah,
Oh,
those ones.
okay. So don't waste my my good mini paints
No.
on.
Don't
Oh.
waste you're
Just
gonna
use
be
regular acrylics.
Yeah,
Okay.
just use regular acrylics. It's gonna be so expensive because one of these is like $6 Canadian, so it's like opposed to like $2. Like, and that's terrain. You don't need craft paints for that, or I mean, hobby paints for that. You could just craft
Learning
paint
all the
for
time.
fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. What did you say? Death Tyrant. Ooh, yes, Death Tyrant. I did paint a Death Tyrant recently as well.
Yes.
That one was fun. Okay, so basically what you want to do is try to coat your brush as much as possible. A big, large, fluffy brush would be good for dry brushing. This one is a big one I use for terrain. I do have a smaller one that's supposed to be an eyeshadow brush, but I use that for my minis if I'm doing that. So you want the paint on your paintbrush, and then what you're going to do is just kind of like smear it around in a circle. You're trying to coat all the bristles with the paint, but also try to wear it down. So like if I'm going to come here, see it's starting to come down, you almost want like barely anything on your brush.
Right.
And it's called dry brushing for a reason. So you don't want Michael Jackson or DM John.
What?
Someone might have started a poll.
Better answer, Michael Jackson or DM John.
I'm not looking at Jay Birchfield, but
No.
I'm also looking at Jay
I
Birchfield.
promise you put The Way You Make Me Feel or something on behind me and give me a floor with some smooth shoes and I will hit it like MJ. So sorry.
Okay, so once you've done that, then you can start to dry brush things. I don't have anything down here that I can dry brush at the moment because everything it's not primed. But yeah, so you would basically just go in one direction for whatever you're doing. So say if it's this piece, you're gonna come from the top to the bottom, and that's the way that you can layer that. So then you're just gonna dry brush it on. You're gonna work it in there as much. You're gonna brush it a lot. It doesn't look like there's gonna be things on there, but the more you work on it, the more it'll come off. And a thing is the dry brushing thing, you never want your brush to be wet at any point. So if you don't rinse this off and start on a new one, just basically what I do is I just rub all the paint off and then dip into the next color. Because if you wet it, then it ruins the dry brush effect.
Yeah.
and
But
it's
so
not
like I've
really
done dry brushing and so sometimes I feel like, oh, it's too dry and it's not really laying anything down on the terrain or the mini.
Yeah.
I'm wrong?
No, that's fine. You want that. Less is more in this situation. You just keep brushing it.
Layers.
And then it'll start to show up and pick up after you do more layers and stuff like that. So like you want, and like say if you're running out of when you're doing this and it's not showing up anymore, you can go back into this spot on your paper towel and try to pick up more pigment from the spot that you use, as opposed to dipping back into your paint pot as well, because then it'll pick up. So a less is more kind of thing. So like if you're doing it like this, it looks like nothing's happening, but then if you keep going at it, it's going to start to show a little bit more. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, yes.
It's starting to show a bit more. And it's a less is more kind of thing, right? Because you don't want to go too heavy-handed with it, and then it no longer becomes a dry brush. And you're just painting it on. Yeah. So less is more.
And you got to know how long you've let the paint dry that's already on the terrain of the mini, so you're not, when you're dry brushing with a little bit of weight to it, spreading the paint you had on earlier.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to make sure. What I usually do is if I'm going to base coat this whole entire thing brown, I'll leave this and work on a different project and let it dry completely before before dry brushing anything else. So you want it to be completely dry before you start dry brushing on it. And same with that. With dry brushing, it's not too bad because now you're just pushing it on there, And then when you go to the next color for dry brushing, it dries pretty quick, so you can do that. Inverted onion layers. Yes. How long has John played D&D?
No, I'm offended. What is the old school look exactly? Because I have a little gray hair. Come on.
He's got that old school.
But honestly,
Ooh, John, you won by 87%.
okay,
Yes, you did.
so I'm alternately honored and appalled because I'm actually a Michael Jackson fan. I love all his stuff from the old days, and to even put me not even in the stratosphere, in the same country as what he did is somewhat offensive, but I appreciate the support
That's so funny.
from the fans. You guys are awesome. And by the way, I like the fact that Tim gave up his eyeshadow brush to use as a mini brush. Tim, that's noble. Well done, sir.
Thank you, Tim. Much appreciated. So you want to, what I did on this was the base was dark brown, and then you dry brush light brown. Oops, I wrote drown. I know how to spell sometimes. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. And then I think it was light brown, and then it was a taupe. So it was a mixture of yellow, brown, and white, or off-white. Dry brush that as well, and then the other thing that you're going to do is then you're going to go on an off-white, and that's where you're going to pick certain stones to do that on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's again just creating dimension. Like if you look at bricks and stones, they're not all the same color, so we're picking out certain ones. I'm sure Evelyn will attest to that too, because she probably does the exact same thing in her prop building as well. Very similar. Yeah, so you're just picking out certain stones and trying to make it add dimension by picking out certain stones and doing them different colors. So there you'll see more of a wider highlight on that one. And then you can do a brown wash. Where's my wash? The other thing too is if you have a black wash here, I'm using this. You can also make your own wash if you're doing terrain. You can also make your own wash out of, what is it called? Just paint and really watered down paint. Craft paint as well, so you can do that instead of using this. I just have this right now. This is my mini wash paint, so that's the only reason why I'm using it.
What is that paint, by the way? What's that? What are you using there? Is it like an Agrax Earthshade?
It's a Nullen oil. It is the thing that I spill the most.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I've got some of those paints, and those are awesome.
Yeah, so with the Nullen oil, what you can do is we're gonna go in between the cracks and just like reinforce some of the depth in there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to wash the entire thing with the black, because then you're gonna muddle the colors. So what you want to do is just go in between the bricks, again, just creating shadow and depth. Honestly, it's worth your time. If you don't want to do it, that's fine too, but I think that's definitely a tip that I've found that it has really helped a lot. It really brings out the bricks, the individual bricks as well.
And that goes back to Fraley's question. So like that wash at the end really creates that definition between the bricks.
Right, yeah. So you could do it over top. Some people will just wash over the entire thing. In this particular thing, I would definitely just go in along the cracks and take your time doing that to really bring out each and every block, right? And then alternatively with the brown wash, what you can do is making sure that my lids are on tight before I shake them. The biggest culprit of why I spill is because I will not close a wash all the way and then walk away from my hobby table and then come back to it and then pick it up and shake it, and then it spills everywhere. Yeah, it's a mess.
Small little tidal wave there for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to make an Evelyn soundboard for sound effects. What was the other sound effect that you did?
It was the healing.
The healing
Was it
thing.
Loremaster?
Yes. It was Ashton's healing.
Yeah, which was funny because someone pointed out that he didn't have me do it last night, and they were like, "Why didn't you have her do it?"
Yeah, she does it way better than your.
No, because she was so busy talking in Orcish.
Oh yes, that was so good. I love that. That was such a great moment. You're like, do it. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, she didn't resist too hard.
No. Same thing again. Now we're doing. I have a brown wash, so this is sepia. You can do whatever you want. Use the cone on Mystical Unicorn. Oh yeah, Amanda has discount codes on certain things as well.
Oh yeah, Mystical Unicorn. Manda is amazing. Great supporter of our show. Check her out. you can pop your creds in, Amanda, if you want to.
I think she did already. It's mystical_unicorn_painting on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. And so she sent me, I haven't talked about it in a week or two, but she sent me this, one of my most amazing minis. I put this right close to Jorge's Red Dragon, which is Storgajol. This incredible frost giant with the snow and the dusting of snow on his shoulders, and compare that to a regular size mini to give you a sense of scale. This sucker is monstrous, and that's Manda. She's amazing.
Meaning that's going to be a TPK if we ever run into
Yeah, he's coming at some point.
Very sure.
What? He's coming?
In one of my campaigns, maybe not yours, maybe another one.
I mean,
there's
Evelyn
been
did both.
8,000 giants in our Rune Lords campaign, so I have a
exactly.
feeling.
She has a sneaky suspicion that it's maybe going to be probably.
Oh, this is a great poll. I'm sorry. So my favorite album, and this is tough because I like all these, but
I feel like it's this one.
Yeah, we'll see in a second.
Are you gonna
Wow.
answer it?
And
Are you
it's
gonna
so hard to
answer it?
pick. It's like I don't know. It's like no, there's no good analogy. I'll just stop.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
even sure he knows what his favorite album is, to be honest. I'm just taking the brown wash and I'm going at the bottom of random bricks as well. It's all about just making it so it's not all the same, right? We're trying to add definition, we're trying to add texture, things like that, and just hitting the bottom of random bricks again, just to bring more dimension and texture and stuff like that. That's kind of where we're at with that. That you can do that on the bricks as well.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot about the gray. Shit, I did gray. There's a gray in there too. There's a gray in there as well. I'm getting there. Sorry guys, I'm not all awake yet.
No, we got a few minutes. You're good. Go ahead.
How much do we have?
We got about 10 minutes before we got to
15
raid
minutes,
Jay. So yeah.
Yeah, so when you get into that stuff, like now you're just gonna add and paint, right? And we're adding texture and stuff like that. I will go in with probably a lighter color for the sand afterwards. And again, this has all been glued down, so like when you move this and you pick it up on your table, it's not going to be sandy. It's not going to look like my desk right now. I'm just letting you know. That's from a previous sand mess. But I think that's a lot of the things too, because I did make a terrain piece that had like moss for the leaves, and then and sand and soil as well. But I didn't seal anything. So every time I pick that thing up, it's like a mess everywhere. Mm-hmm. So like that's kind of nice in the sense where it's all sealed up. It's not going to move anywhere. You can move it and handle it around. Again, like very lightweight. It's just XPS and cardboard, a little bit of cork and some coffee stir sticks. So like if you were to pack this up in a box, you can just throw that into a box and it can kind of toss around a bit, and it's not heavy at all, which is another thing as well, because you're already carrying books and your screen and all that stuff. And so like doing stuff like this is I found it's a lot easier for me as a DM when I'm traveling somewhere else.
Yeah, great for the traveling DM, but also great for the DM that has a lot of stuff and limited room, so you can kind of toss things on a shelf and get them in the back. That goes back to this whole idea of Dwarvenite, the new name for Dwarven Forge stuff versus the original resin. These resins can break so easily. Or even like I love my miniature building authority stuff, like all the things you see me do with the castle terrain. These guys are awesome, but they're heavy, they're thick. You drop one, you're busting it. The detail's incredible, but like when you have this lighter stuff you can drop like that, that's great to have as a DM, whether you're a traveling DM or just a DM in a local space that's moving your terrain around a lot.
Now, as a DM that has your home set up, do you prefer terrain that like clips together, or do you rather just like looser terrain?
All right,
so I know some of them have like clips that you can clip them together. Do you like that, or do you prefer that?
All right, so no, that's a great question. So my favorite is the thing I like best is either terrain that's super lightweight like that. So I don't need something like that to click together because it's so easy to move. Yeah. Or terrain which doesn't click but is magnetic, and you can put it on one of these metal trays from Dwarven Forge. They have multiple sides. And so I built, like when you see me swap out, I've got it right over here, like ends and terrain, the magnets hold the pieces together. I love this.
That sounds like that's actually really good. I didn't know that they had magnetic terrain like that. That's
super
cool.
Yeah, they
At
do.
least
So
that way, it's like it's sturdy enough where it's not going to slide around.
exactly.
Easy
Yeah.
enough
So
for you to take
yeah, right. So if you got the right pieces, now if you tilt it sideways, it's gonna fall, right? But
It's
if you
gonna
just
slide, yeah,
you
for
you
sure.
can move it easily, and it is great for going in and out. But like what you've got there, lightweight terrain like that, that is my favorite. I love that.
Yeah, this stuff, yeah. And so you were saying yesterday that your wife made those 2 terrain pieces. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So like these guys here, and she used, it's her first effort at terrain, and I
Yeah,
think
they
she
look
used,
great.
I don't know what she used here. It's foam of some kind,
XPS.
and yeah, XPS, and she made this, which is I got multiple pieces here, got this one here, and I thought she did a great job.
She did. It looks
because she's
great.
never
I
done
love
this
it.
before, but this is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they look awesome. I really liked them yesterday on stream. They look really great. I think that's a good thing. I think that you're talking about terrain on stream and stuff like that.
Yes.
I find it is nice to have theater of the mind when we're streaming for us, but I think too, like for people watching, if you're watching for a long time too, I think the visuals are also just an added thing to that is nice too, because then people get to see things as well, right?
Right.
And not just our faces the entire time.
No, but
So
that's
it
all
is
they
a
need to
nice-
see, really. I think that's enough. Okay, all right. So
Always.
always. All right. So while you're finishing that up, one of the questions that came through was my favorite MJ album. And yes, Canadian Ancient Gamer, I'm an eclectic dude. I like heavy metal. I like R&B. I like rap. I grew up on gangster rap because I lived in Southern California in the late 80s and early 90s. I could pop off Wu-Tang Clan and NWA and a heartbeat to you, anything, any of that stuff. But my first album, my first 2 albums, guess what they were? Vivi, this is on you. Guess what my first 2 albums were? Yes, I'm putting you on the spot. My
Your
first
albums that you bought, like
no, so I got a record player. So it was like 1979, 1980. I'm 49 years old, so I'm kind of old, but not that old. I was born in 71. So by like 79, 80, I got my first 2 albums. And no, not Duran Duran. No. Not Tico Cole, no. So I'll give you, one was a Michael album. So you can guess ABBA.
I love ABBA.
I do. I like ABBA
good.
too. So my first 2 albums were Off the Wall
Okay.
by Michael Jackson with the white glowing socks. That was a fantastic album. It's hard for me to pick between Thriller and Off the Wall. Those are his 2 best albums, and I like a lot of the other stuff, but it depends on my mood. But I'm gonna have to go with the one person I think who voted Off the Wall, and they're probably right. But Thriller is right there. PYT, Human Nature, Wanna Be Starting Something. Those are awesome vibes, but I think Off the Wall is probably my favorite. Now, my second album was the White Album by the Beatles.
Ooh.
So I am a super eclectic music guy. I like hardcore metal, I like old school rock, I like gospel, I like R&B, I like hardcore rap, but I just don't play it on this channel because I'll get banned on YouTube. So
I'll get banned on YouTube. That's why I don't.
all right, so if you have not yet, type !Beholder,
Beholder.
and you will have a chance to win this amazing DCG Beholder dice tray. A die has never been rolled in this tray. The epoxy is glowing. The resin is glorious. It's better looking than the one Vivi has.
No, it does not,
It
because
is.
it's the
Yeah,
original.
the eye
No,
pops out
wait.
better. It's better.
You see my eye?
All right, and I'm going to give you 2 the roll off. But before we go to this, I want to say thank you, both to Vivi and Evelyn. You guys were awesome tonight. I learned a lot. I've got to believe our viewers who aren't terrain builders, and I know we have some that are, they learned a lot. And you did a great job. So show us the beginning piece again there on the right, my right, and the ending piece, Vivi.
Okay, so I'm still working on it, and also please forgive me because I ain't a professional terrain builder. I'm still learning, so these are just tips and tricks that I have learned along my ways. Yeah, so we started with just a piece of XPS foam on a piece of cardboard. Where we glued that down. We started laying bricks, and then we started to add more texture to the bricks by using different techniques such as the foil and pushing in certain blocks. taking the hobby knife and scraping certain blocks as well, adding sand, using cork as a broken down bricks or blocks, and then using not popsicle sticks, coffee stir sticks, to use to mimic support. So after you do all of that wonderful stuff, and you're going to do 360, so do that on all sides. You're going to prime the whole entire thing with glue and paint, and then you can go forward with the painting and then dry brushing and stuff like that. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's kind of where it looks like. It looks like this. You make something out of nothing.
Wow. Let's give Vivi a hand. Well done. You are so amazing. Yes, I'm still jealous of you. And yes, so Cervante, we do stream every week. But guys, if you're guys and gals, if you're with us tonight, this is your last chance to follow or sub for a week, because we're off for Christmas. No, we'll be on Sunday. We'll be on Sunday.
Sunday's
Yes.
game is we're playing.
Sunday's game is on. Yes, I'm sorry.
Next Tuesday, Wednesday, and the following Sunday are off.
Oh, way to keep me in line. Well done. All right,
Yeah.
so Sunday we are streaming with our Rune Lords campaign. That's 1:30 Central. But then after that, we're off Tuesday and then Wednesday, so we won't have Greyhawk Awakening next week. We will not have this LMA stream next week. That's right before Christmas. And then we're giving our viewers the Sunday off. Now, there may be a special stream with my family on one of those days. So just stay tuned to our Discord and our Instagram. So our normal streams may not happen, but we might have a special stream. And with all of that said, we have one question for you. If you're watching tonight and you haven't followed, or if you're a follower and you haven't subbed, what are you doing? Give us a follow, give us a sub, and we appreciate all of the, man, what a great night. We've never had such an active LMA stream. That's got to be you, Vivi. And
No.
our first roll.
Come join us on Discord.
Join us on Discord. Click that Discord. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's great.
All right, so you, Evelyn, will be rolling for Roger.
Yay!
Roger has a chance to win tonight, and then you, Vivi. So only 2 people are eligible for the tray. You, Vivi, will be rolling for 888. Oh!
Yay! And you know what's so funny? I don't have any dice down here.
What?
Hang on 1 minute.
All right, I'll roll for 888. All right.
Oh, no,
so
hang on. Let's see if I have one.
I'm gonna use my Billy dice.
stay with us. We're gonna raid Jay in a second. Thank you so much. What a great night. We're so appreciative. Here we go.
Okay, so I got Roger.
You roll for Roger. Show us what you've got, Evelyn.
That's a 13.
A 13. That's pretty good for only 2 people. So go ahead, Vivi. Show us what you got.
Vivi does not have dice, so John will have to roll.
All right. So all right.
I brought all my terrain stuff down here.
I've got 2 D20s here, the black and the silver, and I'm rolling for 888. And I've got you gotta go with the DM, a 16 and a 19. 888, you are the winner. Let me pull these up so you can see it. Yeah, you always want the DM rolling for you here. I'm holding those up right. Anyway, we can see it, all right. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to Evelyn. Thank you to Vivi. Thank you to all the subs, the followers, got DM. Yeah, maybe we could, Jay Birchfield 3. We'll see. Maybe we'll do an LMA next week. Just stay tuned to our Discord and our Instagram, and don't shy away from all things Blue Box. All right, before I close, last minute tips while I get ready for the raid. Evelyn, Vivi, if you want to create terrain, and maybe you just think you can't, maybe you think you've never done it, where do you start?
For terrain, I think you can do, there's a lot of very easy, simple rock terrain, which doesn't require a lot of things. It's just XPS foam, and then you can just prime it and then just paint it. Those are really, really easy to start off with if you're feeling apprehensive about trying something. Honestly, it's not that hard to do it, and there's a lot of people within this community who are very open and very willing to give advice and to show you tips and tricks. Honestly, if you guys are interested in making terrain and you're not 100% sure on it, send me a message via Instagram. I can direct you to a buttload of people who are more than happy to help with any kind of project that you're working on. So yeah.
And you know what's funny about that? Buttload is actually a thing.
Yes,
My
it
wife
is.
used to say that a lot, and I'm like, what is that? If you Google it, it's like a term for
Gigantic
wood.
barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Barrel wood, something like that. Yeah, so it's actually a real thing.
It's a legitimate thing.
There are measures of yes.
Yes, like GSUs and buttloads, you know?
We got gimbal standard units and buttloads here on Blue Box. All right, so I guess Jay should be normally up by now, but
He's popped up. I saw him pop up.
okay, all right, let me try
4
again.
minutes ago.
Rating. I'm not seeing him on my raid. Let me refresh everything here.
I've been saying that forever. Yes, I do say buttload all the time.
Yeah.
Buttload of
There he
this,
is.
buttload
All
of
right,
that.
got it. So we're gonna raid Jay. All right, Evelyn, you got 10 seconds. Give us some other great tip.
Well, my starting place whenever I do anything like realism like that would be just to find something like an image that I want to work from, and then use that reference to help me, work from something.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't have to create it just straight from your head. If you have something to kind of work with, it helps you get your ideas of your colors and your textures, and just kind of helps inform what you're doing with the foam and the cardboard and all that great stuff. So yeah.
Great point.
That's a
Well
great
said.
tip. Oh, yeah, I
Well
love
said.
that.
Hey, Mr. Potato Butt, thank you for the cheer coming at the last minute. We appreciate all of the support. We're rating the amazing Lord Gasumba. Thank you to Vivi, the DM's Quest. Check her out, all of her socials. She's awesome. Thank you to Evelyn, Theater Evie, prop creator extraordinaire, role player extraordinaire, Irda Marthalio. She is just incredible. Millie is the star of our Greyhawk Awakening show, and we are rating Jay right now. Blue Box out.